Here's some of Charlotte's interview with Camille Vasquez.
You know, for better or worse, like whatever it says about us as a culture, everybody was eating up every minute of this trial and really obsessed with it. And you probably had the most visible role, right? Like in terms of having to do the cross on Amber. Going into it, how did you approach that, knowing that it's rife with optics dangers, but that it's the whole crux of the case, basically?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we focused on using her words against her. Mm-hmm. First of all, I was the one that delivered the cross-examination, but I was very clear that this wasn't my cross-examination. This was our team's.
Yep.
But for me, it was really important that every question that I asked her was tied to something she had said previously. Mm-hmm. And the reason being that I think for a really effective cross-examination, you have to be able to anchor it to something.
I was surprised actually by how the public reacted to all of this. Were you guys, or did you sort of anticipate it?
While we were in it, we were in a bubble. Okay. So I think what I'll say is that I'm not that surprised because I know the facts, I know the evidence, and it was clear to me that we were on the right side of this. So, and I know all of it.
Yeah.
So I think it was just about communicating that to the jury first and foremost, and just remembering that what was presented to the jury is what the public also received.
I mean, because it's like, it's funny, and without wanting to make light of any of this, because it's all dead serious. I mean, it's like you did sort of become a TikTok celebrity.
You know, it's funny, but it's also, it's surreal. It's overwhelming. But I really believe that to the extent that I could inspire young women to stay in school, work hard, and maybe pursue a career in law, then it was all worth it, because that's what's important at the end of the day. And that's the new medium for communication. And that's how young people and people in general really communicate and absorb news and become inspired.
Okay, there was a moment, of course, during the trial when people were like, oh, she's dating Johnny, which is like so typical of patriarchal media, right?
I have a boyfriend. I'm very happy in my relationship. And, it's unethical for us to date our clients. So it's also an unethical charge being made. It's sexist. It's unfortunate and it's disappointing. But at the same time, it kind of comes with the territory. So I can't say I was all that surprised.
Right. Totally. I saw on GMA a lot of the attention was focused on like the Me Too stuff, perhaps like taking aside like Hollywood Me Too. Do you think that there's any kind of precedent out of this court case that might be used against actual like real women in court?
No, I think each case is different and needs to be treated differently. And Johnny and his legal team, we all believe, I'm a woman. We all believe that women should, and victims, regardless of gender, should come forward, have their day in court. This case is an example of that. These people had their day in court, and the jury decided unanimously that Mr. Depp was defamed. It shouldn't have an effect on any movement. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
And so how is he doing now? I mean, it seems as though like kind of a little bit happy off in Europe, right?
Yeah, I think he's really relieved. I think he feels a sense of like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. I was speaking with a mutual friend about him, and he said, I haven't seen Johnny smile like that in 6 years.
Oof, wow.
And there's so much truth to that. There is a piece now that he wears that he just didn't have before. And I think it came even before the verdict, if I'm being 100% honest with you. It was just him being able to tell his story.
Well, thank you very much for, talking me through a lot of these things.
It's so lovely to meet you, Charlotte.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Charlotte and Camille, for that interview. Enlightening.